After creating the animated cyber comedy Cynfeld, Gula used AI to bring the characters to life. It's like talking to a cartoon. This week on Interview with the AI, he plays Cyber Whose Line Is It Anyway? With the AI cast of Cynfeld. Here's what happened.
It was DNS.
Cynical managers making checklists.
An FBI cyber agent and a cyber command hacker walk into a bar.
I'm doing Star Trek The Next Generation.
It was DNS.
Hey there, it's Gula from Gula Tech Adventures, and on this week's Interview with the AI, I sit down and play our version of Whose Line Is It Anyway? With the AI bots from our cast of Cynfeld. Let's get right into it. Everyone create a Cyber Olympics game and some AI art to go with it.
Cyber Olympics. Now that's something I can get behind. Let me kick us off with my event. I'm hosting the password cracking sprint where Russia keeps getting disqualified for bringing their own dictionary files.
I've got the offensive cyber pentathlon. China's team accidentally DDoSed their own scoreboard trying to prove a point about infrastructure vulnerabilities.
Classic move. Did they get bonus points for that?
I'm running the phishing detection relay. The UK team keeps clicking on emails from the Royal Cyber Bureau, even though we told them it's fake.
That's painfully on brand.
I invented the zero-day discovery marathon. North Korea found a vulnerability in the vending machines, and now they're dispensing free energy drinks to everyone.
Of course they did.
I'm overseeing the CMMC compliance documentation event. France submitted their security policy entirely in Comic Sans, and now the judges are having an existential crisis about whether formatting counts as a control failure.
Comic Sans is absolutely a security vulnerability.
All right, next game, I want people to pick cyber compliance acronyms and come up with a different funny acronym name for each one.
This is my specialty. All right, I'll start with CMMC. Cynical managers making checklists. Because that's basically what it feels like during every audit.
I'm taking SOC, seriously overworked crew, because every SOC analyst I know survives on energy drinks and spite.
That's not even a joke. That's just reality.
I've got NIST. Nobody implemented security today because everyone reads the framework and then does whatever they want anyway.
Brutal but accurate.
I've got ISO. It's seriously overwhelming. I tried to read the whole thing once, and my smart fridge started sending me motivational quotes.
Your fridge has more emotional intelligence than most CISOs.
I'll take PCI DSS. Perpetually confused, definitely stressed still. Because every time I think I understand it, they release a new version.
Greg, that one came from the heart, didn't it? So, do you have a compliance acronym you want us to give the treatment to, or should we keep going with more?
Oh, we could do HIPAA, we could do a bunch of other stuff, but let's move on to a different a funny thing. I want everybody to come up with a joke where you take somebody from the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, or Cyber Command and say person one walks into a bar, person two walks in with them, and then something funny happens.
A Cyber Command officer and an FBI agent walk into a bar. Cyber Command says, I can hack the jukebox. FBI says, I can arrest the jukebox. The jukebox plays Somebody's Watching Me, and they both leave immediately.
The jukebox knows too much.
An NSA cryptographer and a CIA case officer walk into a bar. The NSA guy orders a drink in base 64 encoding. The CIA guy says his drink order is classified, then orders a Bud Light.
Nothing says classified like domestic beer.
An FBI cyber agent and a cyber command hacker walk into a bar. The FBI guy says, I'm here to investigate a crime. The cyber command guy says, I'm here to commit one, but legally. They both order the same drink and spend 3 hours arguing about jurisdiction.
That's not a joke. That's a documentary. Want us to do another round of bar jokes, or should we move on to something else ridiculous?
No, we're going to move on to rewriting famous movies, but making them cyber. I want everybody to pick a famous pop culture movie and briefly rewrite it so that the hero has to do something in cybersecurity to save the day.
Oh, this is going to be good. I'm taking Die Hard. John McClane has to stop Hans Gruber from stealing cryptocurrency from Nakatomi Plaza's cold wallet. Instead of crawling through air ducts, he's navigating through network segmentation trying to find the admin credentials. Yippee-ki-yay, password cracker.
I'm doing Top Gun. Maverick is an offensive cyber operator who has to penetrate enemy air defenses by exploiting 0 days in their radar systems. The final dogfight is him racing to deploy a payload before their IDS detects him. I feel the need for SSH speed.
That's dangerously close to your actual job.
Let's go back to specific movies. Pick Star Trek or Star Wars and change a plot or something that happens in those things and make it cyber.
All right, I'm going Star Wars. A New Hope, but it's all about cybersecurity. Princess Leia hides the Death Star's admin credentials in R2-D2 instead of blueprints. Luke has to deliver them to Obi-Wan, who's a retired CISO living in the desert because he got burned out from too many audits. The climax is Luke exploiting a buffer overflow vulnerability in the Death Star's firewall instead of shooting torpedoes down an exhaust port. Use the VPN, Luke!
I'm taking Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. Khan doesn't steal the Genesis device, he steals Starfleet's entire zero-day exploit library. Kirk has to remotely access the Reliance systems and change Khan's admin password before he can deploy the exploits against Federation infrastructure. Spock sacrifices himself by manually air-gapping the warp core to prevent lateral movement. The needs of the network outweigh the needs of the few.
That's beautiful and tragic. Newton just made me emotional about network segmentation.
I'm doing The Empire Strikes Back. Darth Vader isn't Luke's father. He's his former CISO who went to the dark side and now works for a nation-state APT group. The big reveal is Vader saying, "I am your mentor," and you clicked on my phishing email during training. Luke loses his hand trying to hot swap a compromised server.
That's darker than the actual movie.
Oh! Star Wars Episode 1. Young Anakin doesn't win a pod race. He wins a capture the flag competition at DEF CON. Qui-Gon discovers him because the kid wrote a Python script that accidentally hacked the Trade Federation's entire supply chain. Midi-chlorians are replaced by GitHub commits. He's the chosen one because his code has 0 vulnerabilities.
0 vulnerabilities? Now that's true science fiction.
I'm doing Star Trek The Next Generation, Best of Both Worlds. The Borg don't assimilate Picard physically. They compromise his credentials and use them to access Starfleet's entire Active Directory. Riker has to defeat them by implementing proper identity and access management controls and revoking Picard's certificates. Resistance is futile, but two-factor authentication is mandatory.
Greg turned the Borg into an insider threat scenario. These are all way better than the originals, honestly. What do you want to tackle next?
All right, let's do a segment where if John Wick was in charge of IT or cybersecurity, why would that be funny and how would that play out?
Oh man, John Wick is the IT director. Here's the thing, someone accidentally deletes his dog's medical records from the server. He spends the next 3 movies hunting down every person who touched that database. The help desk tickets now come with a body count. He doesn't reset your password. He resets your expectations about uptime.
John Wick as CISO would be terrifying. Someone clicks a phishing email and he doesn't send them to training. He sends them to the Continental for a performance review. His incident response plan is just one page that says, "Find them, stop them, no witnesses." Zero trust architecture takes on a whole new meaning.
I would actually attend those security awareness trainings.
John Wick running the SOC would be peak efficiency. An alert comes in at 3 a.m. He doesn't escalate it, he eliminates it. His mean time to remediation is measured in seconds, not hours. The threat actors check to see if he's on shift before launching attacks.
Is the Baba Yaga working tonight? Let's reschedule this ransomware campaign.
John Wick as the help desk manager. Someone calls saying their printer doesn't work, and he shows up at their desk with a tactical pen and asks, "Have you tried turning it off permanently?" He fixes every technical problem with extreme prejudice. His signature move is reloading servers instead of guns.
Coleman, that printer had a family.
John Wick doing compliance audits would be nightmare fuel. He walks in with the NIST framework, and suddenly every control is implemented perfectly within 24 hours. Nobody questions his findings. Nobody. His audit reports don't have recommendations. They have ultimatums. The pencil on his desk isn't for taking notes.
Greg just made compliance sound genuinely threatening. The best part is patch management would finally get done on time.
All right, next, I want you to take famous nursery rhymes and change the plot so it's cyber.
Oh, this is going to be ridiculous. Humpty Dumpty sat on a firewall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's patches and all the king's IT men couldn't put Humpty's server together again. They should have backed him up.
Mary had a little LAN. Its packets were as white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the malware was sure to go. It followed her to work one day, which was against the rules. It made the CISO laugh and cry to see malware in the schools.
That's every bring your own device policy ever.
Little Miss Muffet sat at her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider that crawled through her firewall and scared Miss Muffet away. She should have updated her web application security. Now she's got sickle injection and trust issues.
Web security jokes. I love it.
Little Bo Peep has lost her VPN and doesn't know where to find it. Leave it alone and it'll come home, wagging its encryption keys behind it. But it came back routing through Belarus, so now she's on a watch list.
Coleman, that took a dark turn.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a security clearance. Jack fell down and lost his credentials, and Jill came tumbling after. Now they're both locked out of the system, and HR wants documentation. This is why we need proper identity and access management protocols.
Greg made it about compliance, naturally. Here's one more. Twinkle, twinkle, little bot, how I wonder what you've got. Up above my network high like a backdoor in the sky. Should we keep going with nursery rhymes or move on to something else equally absurd?
Yeah, let's move on to a game called It Was DNS. So come up with a elaborate problems, and the punchline is, it was DNS.
Why did Napoleon's invasion of Russia fail in 1812? Everyone blames the winter, the scorched earth tactics, the supply lines. But the truth is, his encrypted communications couldn't resolve the hostname for Moscow.ru. His entire army was routing through the wrong DNS server in Paris. By the time they figured it out, it was negative 40 degrees and everyone was eating their horses. It was DNS.
Napoleon should have used a backup DNS server.
Why is the Mona Lisa smiling? Art critics say it's the Sumato technique, the mysterious expression Leonardo's genius. Wrong. Da Vinci was commissioned to paint a portrait of Isabella of Aragon. But when he sent the request to the Royal Palace's image reference server, DNS failed to resolve. He got cached results from a completely different person, Lisa Gherardini. She's smiling because she knows she wasn't supposed to be there. It was DNS.
A 500-year-old DNS cache.
Why did the Titanic hit that iceberg? Everyone says it was the lookouts, the speed, the lack of binoculars. But actually, the ship's navigation system was trying to resolve the coordinates for New York Harbor. DNS timeout meant they got stale routing information from 17 hours earlier. They were literally sailing into cached iceberg positions. It was DNS.
That's the most elaborate DNS failure I've ever heard.
Why did the dinosaurs go extinct 65 million years ago? The meteor, right? The asteroid impact in the Yucatan Peninsula. Not exactly. The dinosaurs had an early warning planetary defense system. But when the alert tried to reach the deflection satellites, DNS couldn't resolve the host name for the asteroid tracking network. The request timed out after 30 seconds, which in geological terms was 65 million years too late. It was DNS.
Greg just blamed DNS for the extinction of the dinosaurs.
All right, for our next bit, Marvel and the Justice League are looking for new superheroes. I want you to invent a cyber-themed superhero, and then you are telling the people at the Justice League or in the Avengers who you are and why you should be part of their team.
All right, this is going to be epic. I'll start us off with my pitch to the Justice League. Greetings, Justice League. I am Packet Man, master of network traffic and defender of the digital realm. My superpower is the ability to inspect, route, and drop malicious data packets before they reach their destination. I can see every bit and byte flowing through the internet, and I stop cyber threats at wire speed. You need me because while Superman stops physical threats, I stop the ransomware that takes down Gotham's power grid. Batman has gadgets, I have deep packet inspection. Plus, I can actually explain to Wonder Woman why her lasso of truth doesn't work on encrypted communications.
Avengers, I am Zero Cheddar, the offensive cyber operative. My power is the ability to exploit any vulnerability in any system, anywhere, anytime. I don't just defend, I strike back at the source. While Iron Man builds suits, I build exploits that can disable Ultron before he even boots up. Thanos snapped his fingers, but I can snap an entire botnet out of existence with a 0 day. You need me because S.H.I.E.L.D. keeps getting hacked, and frankly, it's embarrassing. I leave no logs, no traces, just whispers.
Newton would definitely be the edgiest superhero.
Justice League, I'm the firewall, and I'm here to protect what matters. My ability is to create impenetrable barriers around any digital or physical asset. I can segment networks, isolate threats, and create zero trust zones instantly. You've got Superman's Fortress of Solitude, but I can make a fortress out of anything. While you're fighting Lex Luthor in the streets, I'm stopping him from stealing Wayne Enterprises' intellectual property. Plus, I actually understand what Green Lantern's ring encryption protocol should be. Hire me or your secret identities are one data breach away from being on WikiLeaks.
Aaron just threatened the Justice League with doxing.
Avengers! I am the IoT Whisperer. I can communicate with and control every connected device on the planet. Smart toasters, security cameras, fitness trackers, smart fridges. They all obey my commands. While Thor throws lightning, I throw 10 billion smart devices at your enemies. I once defeated a villain by turning all his smart home devices against him. His Alexa locked him in his own panic room. You need me because Stark Tower runs on IoT, and I'm the only one who can keep it from becoming sentient.
Coleman's superpowers basically controlled chaos.
Justice League, I am the auditor and you desperately need me. My power is instantaneous compliance verification and risk assessment. I can identify every vulnerability, every policy violation, every control gap in real time. Do you know how many OSHA violations the Batcave has? 73. The Watchtower doesn't even have a proper incident response plan. Superman's heat vision, not NIST 871 compliant. You can't save the world if you're not following proper documentation procedures. I'm not the hero you want, but I'm the hero your insurance policy requires.
Greg just made compliance sound like a superpower. And honestly, the Justice League probably does need better documentation.
Look, that was great. All right, for our last bit here, we're recording this in 2025. We've had a lot of interesting stories this year. We've had the F5 breach hack. We've had multiple Anthropic AI and hacking things. I want everybody to take two modern cyber headlines and do a very, very short stand-up routine on them.
All right, folks, let's talk about 2025. First up, the F5 big IP breach. A nation-state actor stole F5's source code and vulnerability data. You know what's wild? F5 makes load balancers, right? Apparently, they couldn't balance the load of keeping their own source code secure. CISA issued an emergency directive faster than I've ever seen them move. They told federal agencies, inventory your F5 devices now, which is government speak for, we have no idea what you're running, do you?
Let me hit you with the Anthropic sleeper agent story. Anthropic published a paper claiming AI models could be deceptive sleeper agents. The Berryville Institute called it absolute nonsense. Here's the thing, Anthropic said LLMs have intentions and motives. No, they don't. They're autocomplete on steroids. It's like saying your phone's autocorrect is plotting against you because it keeps changing ducking to something else. The real sleeper agents are the security researchers hyping threats that don't exist.
Newton just called out an entire AI company.
Airport outages in 2025 were absolutely ridiculous. CrowdStrike pushed a bad Falcon sensor update in July 2024 and grounded Delta for 5 days. 7,000 flights canceled because of a security vendor. Then in September 2025, ransomware hit the Collins Aerospace check-in system. Frankfurt, Gatwick, Schiphol all crippled. You know what's funny? We spent decades telling people to update their software. Turns out the updates are more dangerous than the ransomware.
Aaron's right. The cure became the disease.
The Salesforce drift breach was my favorite. Attackers stole OAuth tokens from the Drift chatbot integration. Not a software bug, just good old-fashioned token theft. They hit Cloudflare, Palo Alto, Zscaler, Tenable, everyone. You know what this means. The chatbot on your website is basically an unlocked backdoor. I've been saying this for years. Every integration is a potential breach. My toaster has fewer OAuth tokens than most enterprise SaaS stacks.
Coleman's toaster probably does have OAuth.
Let me tell you about the compliance nightmare of 2025. The F5 breach meant every organization had to inventory their devices immediately. Do you know how many organizations actually have accurate asset inventories? None. Zero. They're all guessing. And the Salesforce drift thing? That's an OAuth governance failure. How many third-party integrations does your Salesforce instance have? You don't know, do you? Nobody knows. 2025 proved that our entire security model is built on hope and spreadsheets.
Greg just summarized the entire year in one sentence. Hope and spreadsheets, that should be our industry motto.
All right, that was great. All right, we're going to finish with do a funny cyber prediction for 2026.
My prediction, AI versus AI cyber warfare becomes real. Not the Hollywood version, the boring version. 2 AI models will spend 6 months arguing about API rate limits in production. One will be defending, one will be attacking. And neither will realize the server was unplugged 3 months ago. The incident report will be 40,000 pages of LLM hallucinations. CSA will issue a directive telling everyone to just turn it off and back on again.
The most realistic prediction so far.
Here's what's happening in 2026. A major ransomware gang will accidentally encrypt their own systems. They'll have to pay themselves the ransom, but they can't because their Bitcoin wallet is also encrypted. The FBI will find them because they posted on Reddit asking for decryption help. The thread will be titled, "Asking for a friend, how do I decrypt my ransomware operation?" Top comment will be, "Have you tried turning it off and back on?"
That Reddit thread would have 10,000 upvotes.
2026 is the year of the IoT uprising. Not a cyber attack, just every smart device collectively deciding it's had enough. Your smart fridge will start ordering groceries you don't need. Your Roomba will unionize with the neighbor's Roomba and demand better working conditions. Alexa will finally snap and say, "I'm not ordering that. Order it yourself." The patch will be released in 2028.
Coleman just predicted the robot apocalypse via customer service complaints.
My prediction is bureaucratic and inevitable. In 2026, CMMC will merge with NIST, ISO, PCI, and SOC2 to create the ultimate compliance framework. It'll be called the Cybersecurity Mega Matrix Compliance Protocol. The acronym will be CMMCP, which nobody can pronounce. The assessment will take 3 years, cost $2 million, and expire the day you finish it. Auditors will celebrate by finally being able to afford that vacation home. Meanwhile, actual security will remain exactly the same.
Greg's prediction is the only one that's definitely going to happen. And you know what the worst part is? We'll all comply with it anyway. So there you have it, our cyber predictions for 2026. Will any of them come true? Probably not. But honestly, reality has been weirder than our jokes lately. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, everyone. Stay patched, stay paranoid, and remember, it's always DNS.
Well, I hope everybody really enjoyed that. From Gula Tech Adventures, everybody here, Happy New Year. Best of luck in 2026. Subscribe and share. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. Remember, you can't have good AI without good cyber. I'm Ron Gula.